Hi and welcome legends. Why did I highlight the 1.618 level in the thumbnail? Today I will share with you a little trading secret, so stay tuned. We'll analyze the price of Bitcoin, jump through some exciting fundamental news that is happening around the world, and remember, come trade with me. Down in the video description below you will see two links: 20% fee reduction when you use my link to sign up to Bybit to come and trade, and Mixi where you don't have to KYC with the lowest fees and a $20,000 bonus depending on how much you trade and deposit. Go down, sign up right now, come trade with me. Right, let's go through some fundamental news. First up, here you will see Grayscale and GBTC versus BlackRock and IBIT. Okay, and here you can see, yes, GBTC aggressively selling off, where the ETFs are aggressively buying up, kind of keeping the price inside of the range where we find ourselves in at the moment with the current price Bitcoin. Right, so it does look like there's a little bit more selling pressure here to the downside, hence some of the little dips that we've been seeing, which potentially are great buying opportunities. But nonetheless, you can see whatever is being sold is also being absorbed by the ETFs, still keeping the price bullish and stable for now. Next up, GBTC sells 2,250 Bitcoin. Since its launch, they've sold 300,000 Bitcoin and currently hold 316,000 Bitcoin. Okay, if they continue selling at this rate, GBTC will have no more Bitcoin in the next 3 months. So will that be a massive explosion here to the upside after the GBTC Bitcoin has dried up and there's no more selling pressure, giving us that parabolic bull run that we're all expecting here to the upside? Next up, just in, Federal Reserve will cut interest rates by 50 basis points as soon as June and 150 points by the end of this year, says State Street in a call against Wall Street consensus, reported from Bloomberg. Okay, so that could still be very bullish for Bitcoin running into the end of this year and beginning maybe mid next year as well. Next up, I just found this very interesting. For those of you that believe that Bitcoin is the next gold, well, you can see potentially where this is heading to. Next up, in a strong bullish trend, it is usually time for a bounce when Bitcoin's daily RSI retests plus minus the 50% area. And you can see here on the daily RSI, we have tapped the 50%. Is this a higher low for continuation here to the upside? Only time will tell. Next up, we are going to make so much money through alts in this cycle that I'm already feeling euphoria. This is just the start. So looking at the DeFi market cap, you can see that we are building bull flag breakout, bull flag breakout. Will the momentum continue where we claim the all-time highs for more momentum here to the upside, sending that money flowing into the DeFi market? Right, next up, Sui community has officially kicked off. It's a packed house in Paris as the Sui community comes together to learn, connect and celebrate all things Sui. Right, so some bullish news for Sui. I'm not sure if Sui is part of your spot bags, but it does look like it's gaining momentum and popularity here to the upside. Next up, there is no turning back now. The uptrend will continue. Doge. Looking at the price of Doge here, you can see cycle 1, you had the break of trend, slow upgrind to the upside, and then euphoria here to the upside. Exact same pattern. You break off trend, long consolidation area, you break, you retest, euphoria to the upside. Will this time be different, where we've just broken a daily long trend here to the downside, we have done the retest, and will we see euphoria for Doge here to the upside? Perhaps Elon Musk needs to tweet something again and give us some hope and euphoria for Dogecoin to do its magic. Right, next up, Cardano FUD hits all-time high after falling out of the top 10 cryptocurrencies. Is ADA dead? Yesterday during my live stream, I did do full analysis on the price of ADA. Please go check it out, where you see I've spent a good section analyzing the price of ADA. And does anyone actually use it? Right, I'm not going to dive into this article right now. Please go do your own research. Unfortunately, Cardano is not part of my spot bags, but I still believe that there's a good fundamental case behind it. It's been around for years. It's just the utility needs to start shining, because some of the other altcoins are doing amazing things, and Cardano is just that slow little turtle that is dragging behind. And will it catch up to the bunny? Right, let's dive into the price of Bitcoin here quick. Right, looking at the price of Bitcoin here, the one thing I wanted to point out to you guys, and also as per the thumbnail, what is the 1.618 level and why is that such a magical number? Okay, specifically pertaining to your fib extension, not necessarily just the normal fib that you get over here. Okay, I'm not talking about this fib, I'm talking about the fib expansion. Okay, and the reason why it is so incredibly powerful, if I look at the price action that's happened during this structure over here, okay, and I briefly touched on it yesterday during my live stream as well, you can see, okay, let's start. When we formed the first wave, 1, 2 here to the downside, I just call it a 1-2 because you're making a higher low and eventually a higher high. I highlighted during my updates, if you take your trend-based fib extension from the low to the high, to the low, I said we are most likely going to reject at the 1.618 level. Okay, and that is exactly what happened. Do you guys see the power of the 1.618? Where you have a wave to the upside, a wave to the downside, creating that higher low, and then usually, not always, but in most instances, hitting the 1.61 area to perfection, where you either have a small pullback and continuation to the upside, or you have a rejection. So this scenario played out to perfection, where you have a 1, 2, 3, or an A, B, C getting rejected at the 1.618 level for momentum here to the downside. Right, I've also highlighted this morning to our Legends community, link down in the description if you'd like to be part of our community, 25% discount. Then what happened is I wondered why we turned around exactly over here, okay? When I start switching on some daily levels, let's switch on some daily levels, we switch on the weekly levels. When we started breaking, okay, let me just zoom in over here. When we started breaking these levels over here, okay, there's always a reason why Bitcoin is turning around at a specific level. When we claimed this daily level, and there was also a weekly level around about here somewhere, I can't remember exactly where, I said that level needs to hold for continuation to the upside, and then this daily level was untapped and we just turned around and we fell down. And I kept wondering, why did we just fall from here? Why didn't we tap an obvious resistance level and then fall down? Okay. And the answer also lies in the 1.618. When you take the same tool from the low, okay, so we've already measured this one, high to low, 1.618, right over here. Then again, from the low to the high to the low, and you can see we tapped the 1.618 to perfection again. Okay, so can you guys see how powerful this 1.618 tool is? It needs to be part of your arsenal. I know that there are people out there and traders out there that says it makes no sense, it doesn't work, but you know, purely from this little structure, and I can go back in history and show you guys many more examples where you measure the waves, and true as Bob, exactly at the 1.618 is where you get the rejection. Okay, so a nice little tool to use when you start measuring where to take profits, where could the wave go, and so forth. Right. Then also, when I look at the structure here to the downside, okay, and I just zoom in here onto the 15-minute, just to zoom into this price action over here, okay. Also, from the top of the wave, this is now using it in reverse. To the low that we've made over here, to the top, you can see exactly when we had this momentum here to the downside, where did we tap the level when we got a bounce? The 1.618, right over here. Nice bounce here to the upside, but then we got continuation back to the downside. Okay, and there is where it becomes a little bit more tricky to use your fib extension. It does come with experience, where I wanted to see, well, if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here to the downside, where can the fifth wave potentially end? And that is where I use my fib extension again from the high to the low. You drag it across, you reverse it. Okay, let's reverse it. And you can see this is exactly where we found support, again by the 1.618. Can you guys see how powerful this level is? Make sure that you add it to your arsenal of trading indicators and tools that you use. This level is extremely important, and I use it as part of my trading strategy on a daily basis. Right, so for now, what I would like to see is we can still have a move down here and claim these highs, a triple bottom. So perhaps we're jumping in a little bit of the trading scenarios over here is to say that we can still have a dip down and get acceptance back above these lows that we've made, these lows over here, for a triple bottom, a liquidity grab, and then momentum back to the upside. So let's go and analyze the trading scenarios that I'm currently watching. Okay, so let's just take the fib out the way. Let's switch on some trends, just keeping it simple, some today analysis, and see where we are. Right, so looking at this price structure over here from a simplicity perspective, okay, I would just keep an eye on this trend over here, okay. And like Andy also highlighted in one of his live streams, I did see one of his live streams, a potential another bump and run scenario here, where you have the bump scenario here to the downside, and the target is to come and claim this high once again. Right, so will this be a breakout here to the upside, where we could come and claim this little pivot, and this high over here, another bump and run scenario? Okay, definitely I will just be keeping an eye on this trend. I would like to highlight there's still a possibility that we can still make that triple bottom here to the downside, and for that I am keeping an eye on this naked point of control and this daily level down here. Okay, the naked point of control is when I switch on my session volume profile. Okay, and here you can see we have a naked point of control that has not been tapped, and therefore I call it naked. It hasn't been tapped yet. Also, for those that watched my live stream yesterday, I explained how powerful, and I showed you guys how powerful these naked point of controls are, together in confluence with the daily level over here. So the one trading setup that I am watching is to say that, well, if we do find still momentum here to the downside, perhaps we come and reject an SFP from these levels for then the breakout back to the upside to come and claim the highs all the way up, and potentially even the local all-time high over here, right, where we find we get acceptance back inside of this trend and we find momentum here back to the upside. Okay, let's just zoom out a little bit and see where we are from a larger time frame perspective. Okay, just taking all the scribble out, let's go on to the 4 hour. Right, so from a larger time frame perspective, this is kind of the situation that I'm watching at the moment, is that just switch off the daily value levels and see we are currently consolidating here by the all-time high of 2021. We are just really struggling to claim this area. We break out, we fall down. We break out, we consolidate, we fall down. Now we broke out again, and guess what? We are now consolidating at the all-time high. So quite a critical level. Are we going to lose it for continuation to the downside, or are we going to reclaim this level, perhaps even grab the liquidity above these highs that I'm still keeping an eye on, and for then potentially still a massive momentum here to the downside to grab the liquidity below and then continuation. So I'm still keeping an eye on this scenario over here, right, where people turn extremely bullish here to the upside. We come and grab all of this beautiful liquidity, and looking at liquidity over here, you guys can see if I zoom in onto the weekly time frame, the picture changes a little bit. Okay, just wait for it to load up. You can see on the weekly time frame we still have liquidity here to the downside, massive liquidity. So it looks like price just wants to fall down looking at the weekly time frame. But then as soon as you go into the monthly time frame, you can see the picture changes completely, where you have most of your liquidity here to the upside, here by $75,000. Okay, so it makes the liquidity underneath here that I've just seen on the weekly time frame look like nothing compared to the liquidity that's up here. So there is still that possibility, looking at the price of Bitcoin over here, let's just take the brushes out, that we could come and break this trend. You see this momentum that I have. We break the trend, perhaps we bounce here on the naked point of control. Okay, we bounce on the naked point of control, we grab the liquidity, and we fall back down again. So I am not ruling out any bearish scenarios just as yet. So this is both bullish and bearish, and I want to see how we are going to react when we claim the highs. And to keep it simple, like I said, I would have a swing failure line in here, and if we have a deviation above and we start seeing some weakness, proof of resistance, and we get acceptance back below the all-time high over here, that could mean that we're going to fall all the way down again, grabbing all of the beautiful liquidity below these lows. Right, hope you've enjoyed the update. If you'd like the simplest trading strategy that I use and gives me my trading edge, please go check out this video right now. And until the next one, cheers for now.